considering the law.
Consideration. It seems you were present in all the classes, Faizan.
Yes, sir.
So I have given few examples regarding consideration. Do you remember any of the
Yes, sir.
examples?
That's why, sir. In that only I
Can
was
you
confused.
can
Like,
you quote it? Quote any example?
no, sir. Right now I don't know about these two.
Okay. So Faizan, anything you have purchased recently?
Yes, I purchased a book.
You purchased a book. So you purchased a book, you have paid the price for that.
Yes, sir.
So the payment from your side is a consideration.
Uh,
The book from the other side is a consideration from the side of seller. So
okay.
consideration here means something in return, because consideration shows the seriousness in a commercial transaction.
Yes, sir.
If there is no consideration in a commercial transaction, then we cannot say it as a commerce. So what is the famous saying in the commerce? What comes in and what goes out? Faizan?
Sir, debit what's come in, credit what goes out.
So there must be something debited and there must be something
Yes,
credited.
sir.
Okay, so similar in a similar fashion, consideration is like that only, something in return. So when we talk about the consideration, when we talk about the concept of lawful consideration, so lawful consideration here means whatever services, whatever the monetary transaction is done, that must be lawful. Okay. Now, I have quoted few example regarding the lawful consideration. Now, just I am restating those examples. How about the thing that getting a job in UPSC, whether it's lawful or not,
Yes, sir. It's lawful.
paying amount to get a job in UPSC.
No, sir. It's illegal.
So the consideration that is we are paying amount for getting a job.
Yes, sir.
This is not a lawful consideration.
Yes, sir.
This is not valid. Okay, now
Yes, sir.
one person said that I am going to give you 3,000 rupees loan, or let us increase the amount 3 lakh rupees a loan, but in return you need not to give me the amount back. You just do one thing for me, just kill some person X.
So
So whether
against
killing
again is
person X is lawful,
no, sir. It's
it is
illegal.
unlawful. So this
Yes.
that killing is cannot be considered
Hmm.
as a consideration, something
Yes,
in
sir.
return. This is related to lawful consideration. Okay. Now lawful object. Lawful object here means what is the purpose of entering into a contract. That means what is the object of a contract. Now let me put the example which I have quoted that day. Whether taking a house on rent is lawful object of a contract.
Yes, sir.
Taking a house on rent is lawful,
Yes.
but taking a house on rent for gambling purpose.
No, sir. It's
So
against
what is
law.
the what when we say it's gambling purpose, the object of a whole contract is gambling,
Gambling.
and we are doing an indirect activity that we are taking a house on rent, but we are saying ki what is your concern, you take your money and let us live at that place.
Yes.
But the sole purpose of taking that house on rent is the gambling.
Gambling.
So the object of taking that house on rent is illegal.
Illegal.
So that's why object is illegal. So object must be a lawful object. Faizan, is that clear?
Yes, sir.
See, I can
I got
repeat
it.
as many times as till it is clear. Okay, so
Yes, sir.
kindly check if it is clear. Only then
Yes,
say
sir.
yes. Okay,
Yes.
okay. Thank you, Faizan.
Thank you, sir.
All right. So, any other question from anyone? Please go ahead and ask the questions if any.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, Aniket. Aniket, go ahead, ask your question.
What's invalid contract?
You are not audible, Aniket.
Could you please again explain valid contract?
Okay, Aniket. So the simple answer
Hello?
of a valid contract is a contract which fulfill all the 9 essential elements which we have discussed will be considered as valid. So I hope you remember 9 essential elements which we have discussed.
Okay, sir.
So the only thing is any
Yes, sir.
agreement or any better to say any contract, any do you remember in which section the definition of contract is there? So it is section 2,
So,
clause H. Section 2,
H.
clause
Yes, sir.
H.
Section 2, clause H.
It is written as
Clause
an
H.
agreement enforceable by law. It's a contract.
Enforceable by law.
Okay, so
Yes,
any
sir.
transaction which fulfills all the 9 elements which we have discussed, then we can say we can consider it as a valid contract. Valid and legal. Okay.
Sir,
Yes, Hansraj.
sir, can you explain the anything which is legal but can be void? An example.
Anything
But
which
can
is
be a
legal
voidable contract.
can be a voidable contract. Yes. So I hope I have started the concept of voidable contract.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So in the matter of voidable contract, what we have discussed that able to be void. There's a terminology able to be void. This is a kind of a contract where one party got the right from the Indian Contract Act that if the party wants to cancel the contract, wants to make the contract null, wants to make the contract value 0, then party can avail that right and go to court and ask the court to declare the contract as voidable. But this is only applicable where one party have forced the other party to enter into a contract. That means if any party forced that you have to enter into a contract, otherwise I'll do this, I'll do that. And if the force is applicable, the other party receives such kind of force and enter into a contract without his will. In that case, the other party got this right from the Indian Contract Act to go to court and claim in the court that, Your Honor, there is a pressure on me to enter into a contract. The party have pressurized us by using illegal and unethical means, and please cancel this contract. So let me take you in an example. So Hansraj, though I remember I've given few examples, but still. Now, do you have any expensive item?
Sir, yes, sir.
What expensive item you are having?
Sir, like jewelry.
Your personal jewelry?
No, sir, ring.
Ring.
Yes, sir.
Got married?
No.
Okay, you are blushing. All right. So, what is an approx cost of that ring?
Sir, sir, it's around 1 lakh something.
1 lakh. Okay. So, Hansraj, hypothetically, I liked that ring. Okay. And you being my student, I asked you to sell that ring to me. And I am ready and willing to give you 5,000 rupees.
Yes, sir.
What you will do?
Sir, I will not give.
Why you will not give me?
Because, sir, it is, actual price is 1 lakh. That's why.
So because you have refused, then what I have done, I pressurized you. I said, if you are not going to sell your ring to me for rupees 5,000, I am going to fail you in the examination. Whether that will be a pressure on you?
Yes, sir.
So what happened based on this pressure, you have sold your ring to me for 5,000 rupees,
Yes, sir.
but it is not good. So this is why, to cover all these situations, Indian Contract Act have given certain rights to you. So you can avail the sections which are provided in Indian contract. You can go to court and you can ask the court to cancel the contract because you have entered into a contract with pressure. You have not entered into a contract with free will. You are pressurized by me, only then you have sold your ring to me.
Yes.
This is called as voidable contract. Ultimately, what is the result? The court will declare the contract as void.
Void.
And what will be the consequence for that? The court will order me that I have to return your ring and you have to return 5,000 rupees to me. Under section 55 and 56 of Indian Contract Act 1872. I
Yes, sir.
hope you got the point now.
Yes, sir.
So if there is any kind of pressure, the other party got the right as a voidable contract, under voidable contract. Okay, so you can mute yourself and switch off your video. Okay, any other question? If there are any questions, then please go ahead. All right, so I got no questions, so let us proceed further. So can anyone confirm whether on which topic we are, where we left?
Voidable contract.
So we have completed voidable contract. Just now also we have discussed.
Yes, sir.
Let us proceed further. Okay, contingent contract. So another category or classification. There's a contract which depends upon happening or non-happening of a particular event. So when we talk about contingent contract, so it's a contract which depends upon contingency. So contingency basically here means if anything happens, then we enter into a contract, or the party may agree on one point. If the things doesn't happen, only then we enter into a contract. And the happening or non-happening of that event is uncertain. There is an uncertainty whether that thing will happen or not happen. So this is entirely a unique kind of a contract which depends upon the uncertain event, which depends upon happening or non-happening of an event, which is actually uncertain. And no one can say that definitely the thing's going to happen. So let me put a question to Barsha, roll number 33.
Yes, sir.
So Barsha, question for you.
Yes, sir.
Whether there will be a rain today? Seems
Maybe.
very strange question, but very, very relevant.
Maybe.
Maybe. How much percentage, how much chances were there in this maybe? So what is your opinion? There may be rain or may not be rain. So the point here is, can you 100% claim that today there will be a rain?
Sir, actually, it is raining here.
It's keep raining here.
Sir, it is raining here.
It is raining here. Okay, so let us take whether there will be rain tomorrow.
I don't know.
Okay. Okay. So if there is no rain tomorrow, I am there is no rain tomorrow. Now, raining tomorrow, whether it's certain or uncertain?
Uncertain.
Now you are also agree on this that okay, if there is no rain, so okay, you sir, you come and purchase my book on a particular amount that was decided. This is called as contingent contract, and this is valid. Now maybe many of you are thinking that what kind of contract is this? So in Hindi I use the words ऐसा कैसे हो सकता है? How it is possible? Now to tell you, to make you believe regarding farming, majority of the contract like this only. Majority of the contract. So let me just open this example. Barsha, thank you. And you can switch it off. You can mute yourself. Now please check the example. A promised B that he will purchase the vegetable from B's farm only if it is rain in the month of July. Okay. Now very important thing in this, that why such kind of a contract? Why A is only promising B that only if there is a rain in that particular month, only then he is going to purchase the vegetable from B's farm. So Biswajit Mohanty, you are here in a class.
Yes, sir.
So what is your opinion on this?
Sir, it's quite certain that in the month of July it will rain.
No, whether it's 100% sure.
Sir, it depends upon the nature that it
Can we say it is uncertain? It may happen or may not happen.
Yes. So it's uncertain.
It's uncertain. Okay, no one can claim it. Okay, even the weather department, they can only predict it, but they cannot claim 100% okay there will be a rain. But the point here is, which I want to ask, that A is promising that only if there is a rain, only then I will purchase the vegetables. Now I just want to ask that what could be the logic of that?
So A is also not so sure that he will be buying a B's farm or not.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Biswajit. You please mute yourself. Prachi, you have raised your hand.
Sir, can a contingent contract be void?
What?
Sir, can a contingent contract be void? For example,
Contingent
A-
contract be void? Absolutely not. I have used the term contingent contract. If the word is
but-
used, that means it is a contract.
Sir, if suppose A has a contract with B, if B marries C, but C dies, so
See,
what will be that contract?
marrying anyone, it cannot be considered under the concept of contract. We have to ensure this, that any such agreements which bounds the parties for their fundamental rights, that cannot be considered as a contract. That means
Okay, sir.
marrying someone, we cannot consider under the terms and condition of a contract. First thing, we have to ensure this. Okay, we need to understand this. That could be a social arrangement or social agreement, but we cannot term it as a contract. Okay, Rachi.
Yes, sir.
So because I'm asking just one question, that regarding this example, this happens in the majority of the farming contracts, that if there is a rain, only then there will be buyers. Because if there is a rain in month of July, there are certain crops which grows in a good manner, which flourished in a good manner, and then vegetables may be very good if there is a rain month of July. So the whole contract, the contract will be there or not, it depends upon a contingency. And the contingency is only if there is a rain, then there will be a contract. If there is no rain, there will be no contract. So that is the logic behind this contingent contract. It depends upon some event happening or non-happening of any event. So similarly, I have one more example. If you see, same. A promised B that he will purchase the vegetable from B's farm only if his ship returns by 30th December. Okay. Now, let me put this example in some other words. So let me just check. Divyesh Agarwal. Divyesh,
Yes, sir. Good morning, sir.
you are in a class? Okay. So good morning, Divyesh.
Yes, sir.
Divyesh, I am presenting you one hypothetical situation because to make all of you understand very clearly
Yes.
regarding this kind of a contract. Now, how about the situation that day after tomorrow there is an examination, your examination, and you want a book for that examination. So whether you will put a condition that only if you able to deliver that book by day after tomorrow, only then we enter into a contract, otherwise not.
No, sir.
Can there be a contract like this?
No, sir.
That I am going to pay you the amount of book only if the book reaches by day after tomorrow.
Yes, sir. That can be a contract.
So whether it is 100% sure that the book will reach by day after tomorrow.
Not 100% sure.
So there is an uncertainty.
Yes, sir.
The book may reach or may not reach.
Yes, sir.
So you are going to pay the amount only if the book reaches by day after tomorrow.
Yes, sir.
If the book doesn't reach, there will be no contract. So this again an example of the contingent contract because it depends upon happening or non-happening of a particular event. So similarly, the example I have given here, that A promised B that he will purchase a vegetable from B's farm only if his ship returns by 30th December. Now I hope many of you are aware of perils of sea. Anyone have heard it? Divyesh, you can mute yourself and
Thank
switch
you.
on the video also. Thank you. Perils of sea. So not aware. So earthquake is also there. I hope you are aware of that. How about the high waves, high tides in the sea? So all these factors may delay with the return of ship. So the ship, it's not sure whether ship may drown, whether maybe the ship may destroy while reaching towards the port. So anything can happen. But the contingency is if the ship returns, only then there will be a contract. If ship do not return, there will be no contract. So this contract is legal, it's valid, but it's an entirely different category of contract. It is a contingent contract. Now, proceeding further, there's one terminology which is very famous in the market, but it is actually incorrect. Many of the books or on the web, you may find the terminology void contract or illegal contract. I strongly suggest kindly do not use this term while dealing with any transaction. There cannot be legal contract, there cannot be void contract, because if an agreement enforceable by law, that means it fulfills all the essential elements which we have discussed. And if any transaction fulfills all the essential element, only then we can use the terminology contract. Otherwise, there may be void agreement, there may be illegal agreement. So with agreement, we can use the term void and illegal, but with contract, we cannot prefix the term void or illegal. So there can be no void contract, there can be no illegal contract. If it is a contract, it is a valid contract. And secondly, when we use the term voidable contract, it is defined by law in a section. It is already provided. Nowhere in the law it is provided like void contract or illegal contract. That's why we must not use the term. Now, this terminology we can use, that contract becomes void. This is valid. When we use this term, the contract in the initial, the starting points, it's valid. But later on, due to impossibility of its performance, it becomes void. That it becomes impossible to perform. So in a contract, if the performance is impossible, then in that case, it becomes void. Now, let me put some examples to understand this contract becomes void. So let me just check. Okay, Harry Worth, you are in a class.
Yes, sir.
Harry
Yes,
Worth,
sir.
am I audible to you? Please switch on your video also.
Hello.
I think you need to speak a little louder.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, Haribard, I think you are now visible also, but you need to speak a little louder. Whether I am audible to you clearly?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, Haribard, I hope you are aware of the farmers' agitation at Delhi.
No, sir.
Okay. Whether are you aware that a few borders of Delhi are blocked by the farmers?
Yes, sir.
You're aware or not?
Yes, sir.
So there is a contract between the seller of there's a region in Haryana. I hope you are aware, Gurgaon. There is a place.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So
Yes, sir.
Gurgaon to Delhi, they have to deliver some material, the goods. But due to this farmers' agitation, the roads were blocked, the highway were blocked, and the seller not able to deliver the goods. So here, whether the performance, that means the seller not able to deliver the goods, we cannot say that seller has done a default. So we can say, Harry, you can mute yourself because I'm not able to hear you clearly. So you mute yourself and you can switch off your video. So in this case, the contract between the seller and buyer, it becomes void due to impossibility to perform. How impossible to perform? Because of this farmers' agitation, the roads were blocked and the goods can't be delivered on a given time. And there is no fault from either of the party because of this event, because of this agitation. And thus this contract, whatever the contract is between seller and buyer, it becomes null. It becomes zero because the performance is not possible. That means it is not possible to deliver the goods within due time. This is one thing, and let us see the example. So A sold his house to B for rupees 10 lakh, but possession not provided. Possession means the delivery of keys is not yet done, and they both have decided, okay, let us take your house tomorrow, the keys of the house. Now due to earthquake, the house got destroyed completely, and now there is a plain, the field, there's a plain field. There's no house now because of this earthquake. So the same house, it's not possible to deliver it to B. Now in this illustration, so let me just put it. So Afsana, you are in a class, so please unmute yourself and switch on your video. Afsana Azmi. Okay. Let me check. Devi Vandana, roll number 40.
Yes, sir.
So I hope you have checked this illustration example.
Yes, sir.
Who is at fault? Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
So who is at fault? Whether A is at fault or B is at fault?
Sir, B,
And what is the fault of B?
because he had given 10 lakh.
No, but he want to purchase the house of A.
Sir, 1 minute.
Please check the example.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So now, whether any party is at fault,
No, sir.
whether there is a natural calamity,
Yes, sir.
whether a party can do anything on this,
No, sir.
whether the same house for which the agreement has been done could be sold now,
No, sir.
it's not possible.
Yes, sir.
So the ultimate consequence of this, the contract becomes void. How it becomes void? Because of impossibility to perform, because no party can fulfill their contractual obligations. The reason being, the house was destroyed for which the contract is there, and the object of that contract is destroyed, so no contract can be fulfilled at this point of time. So that's why it is called as contract becomes void. And the legality, there are section 55 and 56 of Indian Contract Act, which has given this aspect. So I hope it is clear to everyone. Now Devi, you can mute yourself and you can switch off your video. Okay, so if there are any questions related to this slide, then you can ask. Otherwise, I am going to proceed further. And do remember, this classification is the main actual classification of the kinds of a contract, which we can check from the legal point of view from Indian Contract Act 1872. Only this is the classification legally. Otherwise, you will find so many kinds. So I cannot endorse them, okay, because this is the only classification, and there's one last classification which is remaining, that is a quasi contract. So I'm just whether my screen is visible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now this quasi contract, this is called as unjust enrichment, and also it is called as the relations which looks like a contract but not actually a contract. So that's where this is a terminology which is given by several authors as quasi contract, partial contract. Okay, so Let me just put it in some other manner. So let me just ask. Prachi Kukreja. Please unmute yourself and switch on your video.
Yes, sir.
Prachi, I am audible to you clearly.
Yes, sir.
Prachi, there's a question that I'm taking in hypothetical manner. There's a friend of yours who is a seller who sold the goods. Now, a fruit seller, okay, a big exporter of the fruits. So what happened? That fruit seller packed certain, make certain packets of 5 kg each and forget at your place the fruits. There are 5 packets. The seller forget at your place, and definitely he is going to take it back when he remember that he lost, he forget the bags at your place. Now what happened? You have consumed the fruits, all the 5 packets. The point here is whether you have to pay for those fruits or not.
Yes, sir.
Why? So you have consumed the fruits. So the point here is you have said yes, you have to pay for those fruits.
Sir, because I have already consumed it.
No, but is there any contract between you and your friend, the seller, that when you consume their fruits, then you have to pay for it? Is there any contract?
No.
Okay. So what law states? What law have said in this situation? In this situation, law framed the contract, and law states that law is dealing the situation just like as a contract, because you have consumed the fruits without informing the seller, without informing him that he left some packets at your place, and you are under a duty bound to return the packets or to keep the packets till he take the packet back. But what you have done, you have consumed it. So law says you have purchased the fruits and you have to pay the price for that. So if in the legal terms, whether the contract elements fulfilled,
Yes, sir.
can we take it just like that you have purchased the fruits from the seller? But there is no contract happened, but law have created the situation like a contract. So that's why this is called as a quasi-contract, partial contract, a contract which is imposed by law. So as a matter of right, the seller, your friend, got the right from these sections to go to court and can recover the amount from you of those fruits under these sections, section 68 to 72. And he can claim that, sir, even that was not a formal contract, but my fruits were consumed by the party and I was entitled to recover the amount from him because of these sections 68 to section 72. Prachi, you can switch off your video also. So this is a kind of a kind of a contract which is actually not made by the party. The contract is imposed by law. So we are going to discuss this in some other class in a detailed format. I am going to dedicate at least 1 hour for the concept of quasi-contract, and with these sections, section 68 to 72. So if there is any question you want to ask, please go ahead, ask, and otherwise I'll proceed with the next slide. Okay, so there's no question I found. So these are the main classification. Now there's a general classification. classification on the basis of its formation. Now see this. Express contract. A contract which is expressed by the way of in writing or in an oral format. So contract can be written, can be oral. So let me just check some. So Mrinal Das, please unmute yourself if you are in a class.
Yes, sir.
Mrinal, is there any oral contract in which you have entered earlier?
Sir, no, sir.
You not entered. Okay, I'll give which place you are residing?
Sir, Bhubaneswar.
Bhubaneswar. Have you traveled in a auto?
Yes, sir.
Where it is in writing that you want to go to that place and you are ready and willing to pay a certain amount for that?
No, sir. It is a oral contract.
It is not written?
No, sir.
It is oral.
Yes, sir.
So now the point is, have you entered into the oral contract?
Yes, sir.
Now the other point is, once you travel from one place to another, whether you are bound to pay the money for that
Yes, sir.
or not.
Yes, sir. I'm
Or
bound
you
to pay.
can say, "Ki because it is not written, so I'm not going to pay for it."
Sir, but it is not written, but since with the person I had a contract.
It is a contract,
Yes, sir.
but an oral contract. Okay. Now, Mrinal, thank you. You can mute yourself and switch off. Okay. So, Payal Raghuvanshi, roll number 62. Payal is here. Okay, so I'm marking absent. Khushal Patel.
Yes, sir.
Khushal,
Yes, sir.
switch on your video also. Okay, Khushal, have you entered into any kind of written contract?
Yes, sir.
You able to recollect any contract which is in written form?
I didn't remember, sir.
Okay, have you traveled in a train?
Yes, sir.
Everything is in written form?
Yes, sir. Ticket, yes.
You have in a written form?
Yes, sir.
The money you paid, it is in a written form?
Yes, sir.
When you have to travel, you have to apply in writing? In electronic format?
Yes, sir. Sir,
On
ticket
the
is.
website of IRCTC?
Yes, sir. Ticket itself is a written form.
That is a written contract. Okay, now, how about this? Your fees submission at Xavier University.
Yes, sir.
Whether you are in a contract with Xavier University?
Yes, sir. I am.
Written format?
Yes, sir.
Everything in writing?
Yes, sir.
Can we take that contract in oral format also?
No, sir. We can't.
Absolutely not. Not possible, because it is a mandate. It must be in writing. So here the point is express contract, where the party writes, or in an oral format, there can be a contract. Okay, Kushal, thank you. You can mute yourself and switch it off. So the example I have provided with taking you people in the scenario. So I hope you are writing the thing also. So this is first category. Now, one simple example I have provided. A writes to B that he wanted to sell his house for rupees 10 lakh. B consented for that. They have done an agreement. They have done a contract. So it's a express contract where the party expressed in the form of writing or oral. Okay. Now, second illustration, implied contract. A contract which is formed without any oral or written communication. So, Mansita Mishra, you are here? Okay, absent. Mrinal Das.
Yes, sir.
Mrinal, switch on your video also. I think Mrinal, we have discussed few aspects with you, so you can switch it off. Pratiksha.
Yes, sir.
Switch on your video also, Pratiksha.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So, Pratiksha, I think you have heard that the categories which we have discussed as oral or written format of a contract, isn't it?
Yes, yes, sir.
So, can you correlate any contract in which you have entered, which is an implied format? That means neither written nor oral. Do you remember any kind of a contract like this? That in which you have not communicated anything, the other party have not communicated anything, but the contract is done. Can you recollect any memory of yours? That without any formal communication, without anything in writing, a contract happened. Consideration from both the sides, enforceable by law.
No, sir.
No? Okay, I'll tell you. Okay, so Pratiksha, I'm having some interesting example. Now, I hope you're aware of the Fruity, the Tetra Pak. How much it cost?
Sir, around 30, 40. I don't know, sir.
You have not consumed it?
Sir, actually, I don't like fruity, so
Okay, which soft drink you like? Tell me that.
the thumbs up.
Thumbs up, okay. How about chips?
Yes, sir. Sir, Lay's.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
How much it cost?
Sir, 10, 20.
Let us take it 20. And I think we all are, at times we are aware that which chips costing what rupees. That means chips 20 rupees packet, we can easily check that which packet is of 20 rupees.
Yes.
So anything like this happens with you, that you just went to a shop, you have tiered one packet of chips, you have taken it and just given 20 rupees to the seller, and both of you not uttered a single word.
Yes, sir.
So where the thing is in writing, where it is oral, don't you think it's an implied contract?
Yes, sir.
Anything in writing? Answer is no. Anything oral? The answer is no. But whether there is a contract, the answer is yes. You have paid the price, you have received the goods, but neither of you have said anything to each other. But contract happened. This is called as implied contract, where no oral communication, no written communication, and contract happened. So thank you, Pratiksha. You can switch it off.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Sir.
Isha.
Yes, sir.
Switch on your video, Isha.
Sir, when those we also have a contract with the government when when we pay in taxes like land tax or something, and in return
Who told
the
you there is
government.
a contract between government and you?
No, so like we pay taxes. That's the money we are paying, and there are people like.
Just a moment. Just to correct, okay, that is not a contract. You have to understand. That is just a rules and regulations framed by the ministry, by the government as a procedure for the collection of taxes. But we cannot term it as a contract. This is a constitutional perspective where we say that we are paying taxes, and it is also a duty of the state government or central government to give us good roads, okay, good highways, good environment, good educational system. So that is basically, we can take it as a constitutional perspective, but we cannot take it as a contract. Okay, now you ask what you're asking.
So like that, like the like government hires some people who clean the streets and all. So that is also an implied contract.
No, that is only by way of tender. It's not possible. So to all of you, what Isha is stating about the hiring of an individual by the government for the cleaning of street and all, any contract with the government generally by way of tenders. Majority of the government contracts are by way of tenders. Okay, and all the contracts with the government are in a written form. There cannot be any contract with the government in implied format or in oral format. Okay, now any other thing you want to ask?
No, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you, Isha. Okay, so let me just check. Pratham Agarwal, please unmute yourself. So Pratham is not here. So I am marking absent.
Arey, good morning, sir.
Arey, good morning, Pratham.
Yes,
You
sir.
are here.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you woke up.
No, sir, I was there, sir.
Okay, so Pratham, same question. Whether you're able to remember any contract which is implied done by you?
Yes, sir.
Tell me.
So see, sir, if we bought a classmate copy, sir, in the back of the copy, it is written 1 rupee is donated to the charity fund or something like that. Sir,
But
we
it was
haven't.
written. It was written.
Sir, because of the ITC, sir, the company name is Indian Tobacco Company. So the consumers will not buy something which name starts with tobacco, no? So they
Where's the
started
contract?
donating.
Where's the contract in that?
Yes, sir.
No, I'm asking you, where is the contract in that?
Sir, we haven't spoken, but we are yet donating 1 rupee to the NGO.
Okay. Pratham, from which place you belong?
The Bhubaneswar.
Bhubaneswar. Whether there are rickshaw pullers in Bhubaneswar?
Yes, sir.
Have you seen any rickshaw?
Yes, sir. Matlab, sir, before I have seen, but now it's very rare.
Okay, so at times it happens, we just sit on the rickshaw
Yes, sir.
and we just say, okay, please go, please 3 kilometers.
Yes, sir.
We have not decided anything, no money was decided, but later on when we exit from rickshaw, then we ask, okay, how much is the money? Again, it's an implied contract. How about taking a seat in a bus? We just step into the bus, we just take a seat in a bus. Again, it's an implied contract. Pratham, you seems to be uncomfortable. You please switch off and you please mute yourself. Thank you, Pratham. So this is what I have also given as an example. So you can see, and you have discussed in a written format, in an oral contract. It's a form of the express contract. So that is all for today. And we are going to discuss, there is one more slide in the next class. So let me just take the attendance first. Anandita Swain.
Present, sir.
Abhishek Biswal.
Present, sir.
Abhishek Swain. Abhishek Chandra,
Present, sir.
Abranil Malik,
Yes, sir. Present, sir.
Adarsh Khandelwal,